Chapter 2200. Junior Yi Chin-fong greets Real God Hong. Yi Chin-fong walked slowly to the front of Hong, knelt on the ground, and kowtowed 3 times respectfully. These 3 kowtows came from the bottom of his heart. He was willing to do it. God's real spirit, I didn't expect you to have a God's real spirit. Although the man did not open his eyes, a deep and majestic voice rang out from his body. It echoed in Yi Chin-feng's ears for a long time. If I had a ball of real God's blood back then, I wouldn't have died. All right, lucky boy, get up. For the sake of the God's real spirit, I won't test you. You won't test me. Yi Chin-feng raised his eyebrows and said, Then I can directly obtain the opportunity to become a god. Yes, you can inherit everything from me. However, you have too many distracting thoughts, so when you inherit my mantle, you must first sever 4 thoughts. Hong's real spirit said. What are those 4 thoughts? Yi Chin-feng asked. Evil thoughts, greed, obsession, desire. Only by severing these 4 thoughts can you achieve the true self and have the qualifications to become a god. Hong's real spirit said. However, the process of severing the 4 thoughts is very painful. Whether you can persevere or not depends on whether your Taoist heart is strong enough. If you can't persevere, you will still die. Real God Hong, before severing the 4 thoughts, I have a question to ask you. Yi Chin-feng was not afraid of severing the 4 thoughts, but he had a big question. Do you want to ask why there are 2 opportunities to become a god in the ruins of God? Hong's real spirit seemed to have seen through Yi Chin-feng's thoughts and asked. Yes. Yi Chin-feng nodded and said, According to common sense, with your situation, only one person can become a god. Could it be that there are 2 true gods buried in the ruins of God? Why is that strange? Hong's real spirit said, Who said that only one true God can be buried in the ruins of God? There are really 2 true gods buried in the ruins of God. Yi Chin-feng sucked in a cold breath. The ruins of God is the grave of gods. In ancient times, there were 6 true gods buried in the ruins of God. However, when the ruins of God appeared in other universes, the other 4 true gods had already found their inheritors. Therefore, after so many years, only the inheritors of Yuan and I are left in the ruins of God. However, Yuan and I are sworn enemies. Therefore, I hope that you can inherit my legacy and defeat Yuan's successor to help me vent my anger. Hong's true spirit said, All right, as long as the person who inherits Yuan's mantle isn't my father, I'll definitely help you destroy him. Yi Chin-feng nodded. You have the god's true spirit. After you become a god, you will be able to walk further than anyone else. You have a higher chance of becoming an existence that transcends God. All right, make your preparations. Tell me when you're ready. I hope you can persevere and inherit my mantle. Once I pass it on to you, I can enter the cycle of reincarnation without any worries. All right. Yi Chin-feng took a deep breath and sat cross-legged on the ground, silently adjusting his breathing. After about a day, Yi Chin-feng adjusted his body to its peak state. Yi Chin-feng opened his eyes and exhaled a mouthful of turbid air before speaking in a firm tone. All right, I'm ready. We can begin. Wang. An unparalleled golden light split from Hong's true spirit and slashed at Yi Chin-feng. This golden light didn't seem thick, but it could pierce through the 9 heavens and 10 earths. When it slashed at Yi Chin-feng's body, it directly tore his body and soul apart. It was so painful that Yi Chin-feng almost fainted. Engraved in the heart, indestructible. Although Yi Chin-feng was in excruciating pain, he relied on his unparalleled willpower to persevere. He adhered to his heart and tried his best not to faint. This was because he knew that once he fainted, everything would be over. Swish! Another golden light broke out of Hong's body and slashed at Yi Chin-feng, splitting his rapidly healing body and soul apart once again. While Yi Chin-feng was undergoing Hong's true spirit, the human sovereign, who was the first to rush into the temple, was also undergoing Yuan's true spirit test. However, the human sovereign wasn't as lucky as Yi Qinfeng. He exhausted everything and used all his techniques, but still couldn't complete Yuan's true spirit test. Poof! The human sovereign's chest trembled as he fell out of Yuan's true spirit test space. He fell to the ground, his face drained of blood. The opportunity to become a god was right in front of him, but he failed at the last moment. This caused all of the human sovereign's ambitions to vanish in a puff of smoke. He fell to the ground and didn't move, like an old man past his prime. He was lifeless. After the human sovereign failed the test, Shen Huang, Yi Wuji, Tianxian, and Tai flew into the test space at the same time. They all wanted to rush in and accept Yuan's true spirit test to fight for the opportunity to become a god. Spatial divine would seal the space. At this moment, Shen Huang's terrifying strength was on full display. He was fighting 1 against 3 and forcibly blocked Yi Wuji's group. Then he summoned the spatial divine wood and controlled it to turn into a world, sealing off the space and blocking them from entering. Destroy! Looking at the spatial divine wood that sealed the space, Yi Wuji used Little Six Paths, Tai and Tianxian's strongest attacks, bombarding the space created by the spatial divine wood. Boom! Taking the 3 strongest attacks, the world created by the spatial divine wood shattered instantly. The terrifying power directly shattered the spatial divine wood, one of the 3 divine woods of the universe. Taking advantage of the moment when the spatial divine wood was blocking, Shen Huang activated his strongest body potential and rushed into Yuan's true spirit test space. Swish, swish, swish. Seeing Shen Huang disappear into the test space, Yi Wuji and the other 2 sped up, wanting to rush in as well. However, Yuan's test was only for 1 person. Shen Huang rushed in, but the 3 couldn't enter at all. Puff, puff, puff. The moment Yi Wuji and the other 2 rushed into the true spirit test space, they were injured by Yuan's power. Like kites with broken strings, they fell from the sky, leaving a large amount of blood mist in the air. Damn it, Shen Huang beat us to it. Yi Wuji and the other 2 wiped the blood from the corner of their mouths. Looking at the completely sealed test space, their hearts fell to the bottom. At this time, they could only pray that Shen Huang failed the test. Otherwise, what awaited them would be death. Human Emperor, can we forget about the enmity between us? After failing to compete for the chance to take the test, Tai looked at the much older Ren Huang and said with murderous intent. Yi Wuji grabbed Tai and shook his head. Forget it, Tai. We'll decide his fate after everything is over. Maybe we still need to rely on him. Okay, then I'll let him live a little longer. Thinking of the consequences of Shen Huang becoming a god, Tai suppressed the murderous intent in his heart and waited patiently. Soon 11 months passed. Less than a month before the ancient path of the starry sky closed, an aura that terrified Yi Wuji and the other 3 sounded in the test space. The next moment, the test space shattered. Filled with the power of a true god, Shen Huang, who seemed to be able to dominate the world, appeared in front of Yi Wuji and the others. Seeing Shen Huang's strength increase qualitatively, Yi Wuji and the others' expressions changed. Chapter 2201. Attack! We can't let Shen Huang take away the opportunity to become a god. Although the current Shen Huang was extremely terrifying, Yi Wuji and the others did not retreat. They all used their most powerful trump cards and raised their battle prowess to the maximum as they attacked Shen Huang. They wanted to kill Shen Huang before he truly stepped into the true god realm. Humph, a bunch of ants. You want to shake me? After passing the test of the true spirit of Yuan and seizing the opportunity to become a god, Shen Huang's strength had also undergone an earth-shattering change. Although he had yet to truly step into the godly realm, his strength had already far surpassed that of Yi Wuji and the others. He struck out with his palm, forming a palm print that could nurture everything in the world, including rivers and mountains. It destroyed the attacks of Yi Wuji and the others. Puff, puff, puff. Facing the terrifying attack, Yi Wuji and the others spat out blood. Like kites with broken strings, they fell from the sky and landed heavily on the ground. They were badly injured. No one can take away the opportunity to become a god from me. You won't believe it. Ran Huang, who seemed to have lost his soul, suddenly pulled himself together. He summoned the Chaos Stone General and undid all the seals on his body. Holding the Renhuang sword, he charged toward Shen Huang. He wanted to kill Shen Huang and take away the opportunity to become a god from him. Then he could reach the true god realm and control the entire universe. Ren Huang was half a step to the true god realm. When he used all his power, it was terrifying. However, Shen Huang was even more terrifying and powerful than him. Shen Huang held the god-killing spear. The spear pierced through the void and turned into a spear light with divine patterns. It shattered Ren Huang's attack and sent him flying. Let's attack together. Even if we destroy the opportunity to become a god, we can't let Shen Huang take it away. Yi Wuji wiped the blood from his mouth and sent a message to Ren Huang, Tai, and Tian Qiandao. Okay. Although the four of them weren't on good terms with each other, they were facing a common enemy. They all used their last trump cards and attacked Shen Huang. Humph! What's the use of working together? I've already obtained the opportunity to become a god. I'm destined to be the god of this world. What you're doing is going against the natural order. Although the attacks of Yi Wuji and the other three were ferocious enough to pierce through the universe, Shen Huang easily neutralized them with the power of the true spirit of Yuan. During the intense battle, Shen Huang had the absolute advantage. He suppressed the attacks of Yi Wuji and the other three and continued to worsen their injuries. Little Six Paths reversed the power of origin. Yi Wuji, who was heavily injured, kept spitting his blood essence into the Little Six Paths, activating the strongest power of the Little Six Paths. He reversed the original power of the Six Paths and attacked Shen Huang like a world. Void of heaven and earth. Little Six Daos came crashing over. Shen Huang wielded the god-killing spear and pierced through the void. The spear pierced through Little Six Daos. When the two destructive forces clashed against each other in the Celestial Palace, mysterious godly runes emerged from the void spear, tearing apart the power of the Six Paths reincarnation technique. Buzz, buzz, buzz. While Yi Wuji fought Shen Huang by himself, Ren Huang, Tai, and Tian Xian all burned their powerful bloodline power and continuously used their strongest attacks to attack Shen Huang. When Shen Huang wanted to withdraw and shatter the attacks of Ren Huang and the others, Yi Wuji continued to spit his blood essence into the Little Six Paths, activating the strongest power of the Little Six Paths. He used the power of the Six Paths to shake Shen Huang so that he couldn't defend himself against the attacks of Ren Huang and the others. Puff! Although Shen Huang was terrifyingly powerful, he was still injured when he took on the strongest attack that the three Renhuangs had unleashed at all costs. A mouthful of golden blood spurted out from his mouth, staining it red. Shen Huang is injured. Seeing Shen Huang spit out blood, Ren Huang, Yi Wuji, and the others were overjoyed. Their shaken hearts were even more encouraged. They continued to attack Shen Huang, wanting to take this opportunity to injure him severely and take away his opportunity to become a god. You bunch of ants, I will destroy you. After inheriting the mantle of Yuan's true spirit and obtaining the opportunity to become a god, he was still injured by Yi Wuji and the others. This made Shen Huang feel extremely humiliated. He evolved a large number of mysterious godly runes and attacked Yi Wuji and the others fiercely with the god-killing spear. Shen Huang's attacks were fierce, but Yi Wuji, Ren Huang, and the others didn't back down. They relied on their strong willpower and the trump cards they obtained in the ruins of God to hold on and fight fiercely with Shen Huang in the Celestial Palace. The destructive power of their fierce battle was too terrifying. In the end, the Celestial Palace collapsed and the seven-colored celestial palace that was floating in the air cracked. The changes in the seven-colored celestial palace also alarmed Shin Yaotian, the god of life, stone ancestor, Gu Chenqiu, and the others who were guarding the palace. The seven-colored celestial palace is shaking. Could it be that someone has seized the opportunity to become a god and is fighting fiercely? It's very possible. Who do you think has seized the opportunity to become a god? It's hard to say, but I hope it's not Shen Huang. Just as everyone looked at the seven-colored celestial palace that was shaking more and more violently, discussing and praying secretly, the seven-colored celestial palace couldn't withstand Shen Huang's attacks. Yi Wuji and the others were fighting and finally shattered, falling from the sky. In the fierce battle, although Shen Huang was constantly injured, Yi Wuji and the others were more seriously injured. Among them, Ren Huang, who was the most aggressive, had his body pierced by Shen Huang's god-killing spear, injuring his foundation. Although his body was severely injured, Ren Huang, who was in a frenzy, still didn't back down. He attacked Shen Huang like a madman, making his last stand. For against one, could it really be Shen Huang who has seized the opportunity to become a god? Looking at Yi Wuji and the others who flew out of the fallen celestial palace, the hearts of Shen Yaotian, the god of life, and the others fell to the bottom. They didn't expect that the most terrifying thing would happen. The opportunity to become a god had really been seized by Shen Huang. A huge haze filled the hearts of Shen Yaotian, Gu Chenqiu, and the others. They knew very well that once Shen Huang became a god, what awaited them would be death. But Shen Huang was too terrifying. Shen Yaotian and the others couldn't help at all. They could only pray that Yi Wuji and the others could kill Shen Huang at the last moment and destroy the opportunity to become a god. Yi Wuji, just you wait. When I step into the true god realm, I will definitely kill you all and annihilate your entire family. Shen Huang, who was injured, wanted to break out of the encirclement and leave quickly. Humph! I'm afraid you won't have the chance. Yi Wuji and the others attacked with all their might, ignoring their injuries, blocking the space that Shen Huang was leaving. This battle shook the heavens and the earth. This battle destroyed the heavens and the earth. Yi Wuji and the others had almost burned all of their blood and qi, fighting Shen Huang to the extreme. At this time, there were less than 3 days before the ancient road of the starry sky closed. If they couldn't severely injure Shen Huang in 3 days and take away the opportunity to become a god, once Shen Huang left the ruins of God and returned to the void god world, it would be extremely difficult to take away the opportunity to become a god from him. Yi Wuji, Tai, I know that I am a sinner of the human race. Let this sinner do one last thing for you. I hope that you can protect the legacy of the human race, the bloodline of the human race. Having missed the opportunity to become a god, Ren Huang understood a lot and regretted his actions. At the last moment, the enlightened Ren Huang burned himself and launched a final attack at Shen Huang. Oh no, Ren Huang was a half-step to the true god realm. His final attack after burning his life was extremely terrifying. Even Shen Huang's expression changed drastically as he dodged with all his might. But Ren Huang was too fast. He couldn't escape at all. Boom! Ren Huang self-destructed. The terrifying power shattered the space of the ruins of God and launched a fatal attack at Shen Huang. Under the attack of Ren Huang's self-destruction, Shen Huang's physical defense was shattered. He was severely injured. However, under the protection of the power of inheritance from Yuan's true spirit, Shen Huang still withstood Ren Huang's self-destruction. He took advantage of the chaotic space to escape. Chapter 2202. Damn it, he still escaped. When Yi Wuji and the other two forcefully crossed the chaotic space, they realized that Shen Huang had disappeared. Their hearts sank as they searched for him in the ruins of God. However, the ruins of God was too big. Shen Huang insisted on hiding. Finding him was like finding a needle in a haystack. Rumble! While Yi Wuji and the others were searching for Shen Huang, a loud sound rang out in the ruins of God and above the starry sky ancient path, alarming everyone. In the next moment, a powerful teleportation force came from the space, teleporting Yiwuji and the others who were still alive out of the ruins of God and the starry sky ancient path back to the void God world. Shen Huang. When they left the ruins of God, Yiwuji and the others discovered Shen Huang not far away. However, Shen Huang had no intention of fighting with them. Before Yiwuji and the others could attack, he quickly escaped and disappeared from the void God world. Wuji, what should we do? Shen Yaotian and the others were worried that Shen Huang had taken away their opportunity to become a god. They were very clear about the hatred between them and Shen Huang. Once Shen Huang broke through to the true god realm, he would definitely destroy them, the human race, the ancient race, the dragon race, and the demon race. When Chengfeng comes out, we'll leave this universe. Yiwuji took a deep breath and finally decided. That's the only way. Shen Yaotian and the others sighed softly. However, they could leave the void god world, but the humans, the ancient race, and the dragon race couldn't. This made Shen Yaotian and the others very upset. While Yiwuji and the others were waiting at the top of the demonic sky, people were constantly being teleported out of the starry sky ancient path. However, while waiting, Yiwuji and the others suddenly became nervous because they didn't find Yi Qinfeng or the Phoenix God. Could something have happened to Chengfeng? A bad feeling arose in Yiwuji and the others' hearts. No, with Qingfeng's strength, it's impossible for him to die in the ruins of God. He will definitely come out alive. At this moment, Shen Yaotian and the others were no longer thinking about their own fates. Instead, they were praying for Yi Qinfeng to come out quickly. However, after waiting bitterly for 3 days and 3 nights, they still didn't see Yi Qinfeng. This made them despair. Qingfeng, something has really happened to the Phoenix God. Who the hell killed them? No one had ever survived the closing of the ancient Star Road. Therefore, Yiwuji and the others felt that something might have happened to Yi Qinfeng. Limitless God, there's something I need to tell you. In the ruins of God, I saw your son being pursued by the human emperor. Looking at Yiwuji and the others who had fallen into a haze, Stone Ancestor slowly walked over and revealed an important piece of information. However, since the human sovereign was dead, Yiwuji and the others could not pursue the matter. They could only endure the pain in their hearts and leave the demonic sky summit to meet up with Yu Nikhang, Yu Yeming, Xiao Wendy, and the others. When Yu Nikhang and the others found out that Yi Qinfeng might have lost his life in the ruins of God, it was as if they had been struck by lightning and their minds went blank. Impossible! Nothing can happen to Qinfeng. Yu Nikhang and the others could not accept this fact, and large amounts of tears flowed uncontrollably from the corners of their eyes. Grief filled everyone's hearts. No, young master, you shouldn't be dead. Just as the atmosphere was tense, Evil God suddenly said, If young master Yi is dead, we should be free, but I'm still controlled by the Soul Eater. That's right, I can also feel the existence of the Soul Eater. Sword God and the others nodded and agreed. Tai He, if something really happened to Qingfeng, will they release the control of the Soul Eater? After receiving the answers from Sword God and the others, Yiwuji suppressed the excitement in his heart and looked at Tai Yi. Yes, if something happens to Qingfeng, they will all be free. Tai Yi nodded and said, If their minds are still controlled by the Soul Eater, it means that Qingfeng is still alive. That's great. I knew that father was invincible. Yu Yeming said excitedly. But where did Qingfeng go? Logically speaking, if the ancient Star Road is closed, as long as one is alive, they will be transported out. Could it be that Qingfeng obtained a rare opportunity in the ancient Star Road and is still inside? A bold guess appeared in Yiwuji's mind. Yiwuji thought for a moment and said, Brother Tai Yi, do me a favor. Let's attack this space with all our might and see if we can break through a space tunnel. He and Tai Yi were both almighties at the peak of the virtual god realm. They were only one step away from half-step true God. If they attacked with all their might, they could definitely break through a space tunnel to leave this universe. Okay, Tai nodded. With the Soul Eater in hand, he and Yi Wuji attacked the space at the top of the demonic sky peak with all their might. Boom! Boom! Yi Wuji and Tai activated their strongest combat power. The attack that erupted was enough to destroy heaven and earth, and it was enough to pierce through everything. However, when it hit the space wall at the top of the demonic sky peak, it only broke the space but could not penetrate it. Indeed, my guess was right. Although the ancient Star Road is closed, we have not left. And Changfeng is still in the ancient Star Road. Feeling that the space was filled with invincible suppression, Yi Wuji was basically sure that Yi Qinfeng was in the ancient Star Road. Wuji, why don't we wait for Changfeng to return and then leave this universe as a family? Shan Yaotian suggested. Sai, with the suppression of the ancient Star Road, it's impossible for us to leave even if we want to. Under the suppression of the ancient Star Road, Yi Wuji could not borrow the power of Little Six Paths to break through the space tunnel and leave with Shen, Yaotian, and the rest. Yi Wuji took a deep breath and suggested, Ancestral Dragon God, God Qianqiu, now that Shen Huang has taken the opportunity to become a god, it is very likely that he will become a god. And with his personality, once he becomes a god, he will definitely take revenge on us. So, I suggest that we gather all of our strength and search for Shen Huang's whereabouts. When he is going through the god's tribulation, we will attack him one last time. We will use all of our strength to stop him from becoming a true god. All right, we have no way out. Let's fight. Gu Qianqiu sighed deeply and said, I hope we will not become eternal sinners of the void god realm. Although Yi Wuji and the rest tried to block the news that Shen Huang had obtained the opportunity to become a god still slowly spread in the void god realm. For a moment, the entire void god realm was in an uproar. The various races were anxious, but the Celestials were extremely arrogant. However, after Shen Huang obtained the opportunity to become a god, he mysteriously disappeared. The Celestials were attacked by the humans, the dragons, and the ancients. They were heavily injured, and the entire void god realm fell into chaos. While the void god realm was in chaos, Yi Wuji and the rest used all their power to build space teleportation formations in the entire void god realm. They collected a large number of self-destructing treasures and searched for Shen Huang's hiding place. However, the void god realm was too big. The chances of finding Shen Huang were next to nothing. Suddenly, one day, a powerful aura surged in the Kunlun Holy Land ruins, causing a huge change in heaven and earth. A large number of illusions were created, and an endless amount of divine punishment power poured down. 3 days later, Yi Wuji used the terrifying divine punishment and the unprecedented opportunity he had obtained in the ruins of God to step into the half-step true God realm. After a few more days, the original Dragon God and Gu Qianqiu both broke through to the extreme void God realm. Yi Wuji and the rest increased their cultivation, but there was an insurmountable gap between the half-step true God realm and the true God realm. Once Shen Huang stepped into the true God realm, he would still cause a devastating blow to them. Just as the various races were searching for Shen Huang's whereabouts in the void God realm, a piece of important news reached Yi Wuji and the rest. In the North Sea, which was located in the extreme north of the void God realm, a large number of strange phenomena appeared. Tens of thousands of demonic beasts were killed, and the entire North Sea was dyed red. Chapter 2203. Those are tribulation clouds. Yi Wuji and the others arrived at the North Sea, where the air was filled with a thick smell of blood. The sky was filled with thick tribulation clouds that were dyed red with blood. They realized that the wind above the blood sea was getting stronger and stronger. The rolling tribulation clouds covered the sun. Thousands of auspicious lights gathered from all directions and merged into the tribulation clouds, increasing their energy. What a terrifying pressure! This should be the tribulation of a true god. Shen Huang is in the North Sea. Looking at the 7-colored tribulation clouds that were getting thicker and thicker, Yi Wuji and the others were sure that Shen Huang was hidden in the North Sea. Brother Tai, God Qianqiu, God Dragon, let's enter the North Sea and search for Shen Huang. Once we find him, immediately attack him with self-destruct items. We must not let him pass the tribulation of a true god. Yi Wuji looked at the turbulent tribulation clouds that seemed to be nurturing ferocious beasts and said loudly, Wuji, you must be careful. If you really can't beat him, come back immediately. Shen Yaotian and the others said nervously, Okay. Yi Wuji nodded, but in his heart he was prepared to die. If he could use his life to stop Shen Huang from entering the immortal state, he would definitely give up everything without hesitation. Flying into the North Sea that was dyed red with blood, even Yi Wuji and the others found it difficult to breathe. It was as if there were mountains on top of them. At this moment, the tribulation clouds that were getting thicker and thicker started to evolve these divine diagrams. These divine diagrams were extremely mysterious and had a strong killing intent. They kept swallowing the chi of heaven and earth as if there was no end. Affected by the tribulation clouds, huge waves kept rising in the North Sea, attacking Yi Wuji and the others who were flying quickly. There's someone on that island. Yi Wuji and the others searched for about a day and found someone swallowing the blood chi of the North Sea on an island deep in the North Sea. That person was Shen Huang, whom they had been searching for so long. Yi Wuji, I didn't expect you to come. Sensing the aura of Yi Wuji and the others, Shen Huang's strength changed drastically. After swallowing billions of blood chi, he opened his eyes and looked at them with 2 beams of light. Although Yi Wuji and the other 3 were still dozens of nautical miles away from Shen Huang, they still felt as if their hearts were being pierced by thousands of arrows when they felt the light in his eyes. They did not dare to look him in the eye. That was the difference in absolute strength. Shen Huang's eyes alone were enough to frighten Yi Wuji and the others. However, Yi Wuji and the other 3 didn't back down. They knew that this was the best chance to kill Shen Huang. If they failed, not only would they die, but their race would also be destroyed. Shen Huang, I won't let you become a god. Yi Wuji summoned the little 6 paths to hover above his head and replied domineeringly, With just the 4 of you. A look of disdain appeared on Shen Huang's face. He didn't move, but sent a palm strike towards Yi Wuji and the others. With a palm strike, the space collapsed. The terrifying power disrupted the space as if it wanted to destroy the entire universe. Little 6 Dao, attack! Facing Shen Huang's palm light, Yi Wuji and the others did not retreat. They all raised their combat abilities to the maximum and controlled their strongest divine implements to attack Shen Huang's palm. Boom! 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 With the combined power of Yi Wuji and the others, they managed to block Shen Huang's palm strike with difficulty. However, the terrifying palm strike still made their blood boil. It was very uncomfortable. After the palm strike, Shen Huang opened his mouth and let out a roar that shook the 9 heavens. It distorted the space and attacked Yi Wuji and the others. Puff! 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 With that roar, Yi Wuji and the others were all injured. Large amounts of blood spurted out from their mouths. Strong, too strong. Facing Shen Huang, Yi Wuji and the others felt a deep sense of helplessness. Let's go. We'll retreat first and wait for his true god, tribulation, to descend. Then we'll take the risk and attack him. Yi Wuji took a deep breath and immediately escaped with the other 3. Seeing Yi Wuji and the others leave, Shen Huang smiled coldly. He continued to absorb the majestic power of blood and chi and waited for the true god, tribulation, to descend. Rumble! The terrifying 7-colored tribulation cloud grew thicker and thicker. When it was 10,000 feet tall, it spun like a top and locked onto Shen Huang, who was absorbing blood and chi. With a roar that shook the entire void god realm, the true god tribulation descended. It shattered the entire space and attacked Shen Huang. Facing the true god tribulation, Shen Huang's expression did not change. He continued to form mysterious hand seals, forming powerful seals that forcefully weakened the power of the true god tribulation. When the true god tribulation landed on the tribulation cloud formed by Shen Huang, it formed a large number of mysterious divine runes that attacked Shen Huang's body. Under the attack of the divine runes, Shen Huang's divine body was constantly shattered. However, there was no trace of pain on his face. He continued to use powerful divine spells to absorb divine runes into his flesh and blood, carving them into his bone marrow and bones. He was using the true god tribulation's baptism to break through to the true god realm. Brother Tai, original dragon god, Chencho god, give me all the self-destruct items you have. I'll give Shen Huang a fatal blow, Yi Wuji said after taking a deep breath as he watched Shen Huang being baptized by the true god tribulation. No, let's go together. Original dragon god shook his head, not backing down. It's useless to have more people. Moreover, with your abilities, it's too risky to risk entering the true god tribulation's area. I'm a half-step virtual god, and I have the little 6 paths. I can withstand the true god tribulation's baptism for a short period of time. Yi Wuji refused. All right, there's no time to lose. Quickly give me the self-destruct items. If anything happens to me, I'll leave my family in your hands. Wuji, be careful. Tai and the other two gave Yi Wuji several Qinkuan rings and warned him seriously. Okay. Yi Wuji put away the Qinkuan rings that contained a large number of self-destruct items. He took a deep breath and burned his powerful, primordial bloodline, increasing his combat strength to the maximum. He merged with the little 6 paths and tore through the chaotic space. He charged into the true god tribulation's area at an extremely fast speed. Rumble. The moment Yi Wuji charged into the true god tribulation's area, the god tribulation's power descended and bombarded the little 6 paths. Although the little 6 paths' power was comparable to a supreme artifact, it trembled violently under the attack of the god tribulation's power. Yi Wuji was under immense pressure, and he kept spitting out mouthfuls of blood. Despite the immense pressure, Yi Wuji did not slow down. He charged into the true god tribulation's area at an extremely fast speed. He tried to get as close to Shen Huang as possible and attacked him with the self-destruct items to interfere with his god tribulation. Yi Wuji, you're asking for it. Shen Huang noticed Yi Wuji approaching him from the corner of his eye. His cold eyes were filled with intense, murderous intent. Enduring the baptism of the true god tribulation, Shen Huang summoned the god's killing spear and threw it out with all his might, piercing it toward Yi Wuji. Looking at the god's killing spear that was wrapped in the power of the god tribulation and looked like a divine dragon, Yi Wuji's expression changed slightly. He continuously used his powerful trump cards to defend himself. However, the power of the god's killing spear was too great, and it was also infused with the power of the god tribulation. Yi Wuji's trump cards could not block it at all and were easily pierced through by the god's killing spear. Yi Wuji had no choice but to control the little 6 paths in front of him and use its power to block the god's killing spear's attack. Boom! The god's killing spear pierced the little 6 paths, creating a power that Yi Wuji could not block. While Yi Wuji was using the little 6 paths power to block the god's killing spear, the terrifying true god tribulation bombarded his body, instantly shattering his physical body. Power of the 6 paths, repair! After his physical body was shattered, Yi Wuji immediately used the power of the 6 paths to repair his physical body. He continued to take the risk to approach Shen Huang and appeared 10 meters away from him. Shen Huang, I will not let you enter the true god realm. Yi Wuji threw out tens of thousands of self-destructing items he had collected, bombarding Shen Huang, who was in the middle of his tribulation. Chapter 2204. Wuji, come back! The original dragon god and the others were waiting anxiously outside the true god tribulation. When they saw the huge explosion in the area, they immediately worried about Yi Wuji's safety. They released a powerful sound wave and shouted, "Six paths, origin energy, burn!" Shen Huang was attacked by tens of thousands of self-destructing items. Yi Wuji was also affected, and his injuries worsened. He decisively burned the six paths, origin energy of the minor six paths, withstanding the true god tribulation that was getting stronger and stronger. He tried his best to escape from the area. Yi Wuji's injuries worsened. He tried his best to escape, but Shen Huang was not in a good situation either. Although he was powerful, his injuries worsened after being attacked by tens of thousands of self-destructing items. Cracks appeared on his strong body, and a large amount of dark, golden blood spurted out of his mouth. God's mark explode! At the critical moment, Shen Huang activated the God's mark in his body. He used the God's mark to defend against the self-destructing power and the true God tribulation. Devouring law. When the God's mark exploded with invincible divine power, Shen Huang activated his body's potential. Like a giant whirlpool, he crazily devoured the power of laws in the true God tribulation. He absorbed it into his body and quickly healed his injuries. Wuji, are you okay? Tai Yi and the others, who were waiting anxiously, saw Yi Wuji turn into a bloody light and rush out. They immediately went up and asked with concern, I'm fine, I'm fine. Yi Wuji quickly swallowed several hollow soul pills and drank a mouthful of precious God source to stabilize his injuries. Wuji, did you succeed? Tai Yi really wanted to know about Shen Huang's situation. With the help of the hollow God elixir and the divine source, Yi Wuji stabilized his injuries and exhaled a mouthful of turbid air. All the self-destruct items we collected were used to attack Shen Huang's body. However, the power of the true God tribulation is too great. I don't know if that attack seriously injured him, nor do I know what other trump cards he has. No matter what, it's good that you succeeded. The original dragon god and the others breathed a sigh of relief. They kept praying that Shen Huang failed the tribulation. The true God tribulation was too powerful, and Yi Wuji was badly injured. Tai Yi and the others did not dare to enter the true God tribulation. They could only wait outside. Suddenly, an extremely fast figure appeared and arrived beside Yi Wuji and the others. Tianxian. Looking at the person who suddenly appeared, the primordial dragon god and the others showed a trace of vigilance. Although Tianxian and Shen Huang were enemies, Tianxian was still a member of the celestial race, so the primordial dragon god and the others had to be careful. I'm here to help you deal with Shen Huang. Tianxian noticed the gazes of the first dragon god and the others, but he didn't care. Really? The primordial dragon god and the others questioned. Shen Huang killed my father and is a sinner of my clan. I will not allow him to become a god. Tianxian said firmly. All right, I believe you. Yi Wuji glanced at Tianxian and said indifferently. The might of the true God tribulation was too frightening. Even after 9 days and 9 nights of bombardment, there was still no sign of it subsiding. Meanwhile, Shen Huang had completely withstood the baptism of the true God tribulation with the help of the God's mark, continuously completing its transformation. Sigh, looks like we've underestimated Shen Huang. It's extremely likely that he'll be able to overcome this true God tribulation. Yi Wuji and the others knew that if Shen Huang couldn't withstand the baptism of the true God tribulation and was killed, the God tribulation would disperse. The fact that the true God tribulation didn't disperse for a long time was enough to prove that Shen Huang was still facing the tribulation. Brother Tai Yi, primordial dragon god, God Qinqiu, Tianxian, quickly leave this place and take Yao Tian and the others away. Yi Wuji felt that he might not be able to stop Shen Huang from entering the true God realm, so he made a prompt decision. Let me stay and fight Shen Huang with you." Tian Xian shook his head, having no intention of leaving. With the death of the human sovereign, Tai Yi no longer had any hatred in his heart, so he chose to fight alongside Yi Wuji. As for the original dragon god, although Gu Qianqiu also wanted to fight side by side with Yi Wuji against Shen Huang and fight to the death with him, they had too many responsibilities on their shoulders. They also had to shoulder the fate of an entire race. They could only leave first. As the primordial dragon god and Gu Qianqiu left, the seven-colored tribulation cloud that was spinning rapidly shook violently. The power of the tribulation cloud was rapidly drained, turning into the last true god tribulation and bombarding Shen Huang's body. True God realm breakthrough. After being attacked by the last true god tribulation, Shen Huang's physical injuries continued to worsen. However, under the most fatal baptism of the true god tribulation, he also underwent an ultimate transformation. In the end, Shen Huang used the inheritance of Yuan's true spirit to break through the final bottleneck and step into the true God realm. The moment Shen Huang stepped into the true God realm, an invincible divine light broke out of his body and shot into the sky. It directly tore apart the terrifying seven-colored tribulation cloud and pierced a large hole in the sky. Ancient God-slaying matrix. Looking at the rapidly dissipating true God tribulation, Yi Wuji summoned the extremely powerful ancient God-slaying matrix, isolating the entire space. Brother Tai Yi, Tian Xian, enter the matrix. After activating the ancient God-slaying matrix, Yi Wuji immediately let Tai Yi and Tian Xian merge into the matrix to increase its power. He was prepared to use the ancient matrix to fight against Shen Huang, taking advantage of the fact that he had just passed the true God tribulation and was extremely weak to kill him. Yi Wuji, Tai Yi, Tian Xian, you guys are really stubborn. I've already stepped into the true God realm, and you still dare to go against me. The true God tribulation disappeared. Wearing the divine tribulation clothes and divine tribulation boots, the divine tribulation boots, the power of the myriad Tao evolved around his body. Every move of his could trigger a huge change in heaven and earth. Is this the power of the true God realm? Although Shen Huang had just passed the true God tribulation and his combat power had yet to reach its peak, the aura he emitted made Yi Wuji and the other two feel fear. A strong sense of powerlessness arose in their hearts. It was as if they were not facing a person, but the 10,000 transformations divine Tao. Now, are you still not going to give in? Shen Huang's eyes were cold. If you choose to give in and kill yourself in front of me, perhaps I will consider not destroying the human race. Shen Huang, do you think we will believe your nonsense? Yi Wuji was unmoved. He burned his life to the greatest extent to quickly increase his combat power. Yi Wuji burned his life. Tai Yi and Tian Xian also burned their lives at this moment. After merging with the burning life force of Yi Wuji and the other two, the ancient god-slaying matrix spun quickly gathering the power of the god-slaying matrix. Since you want to die, I will fulfill your wish and destroy you. I want to see who in the entire universe dares to go against me. Shen Huang's pupils shrank. His right hand, which was flowing with divine light, clawed at the void and instantly condensed a divine spear of Tao will. He threw it at the ancient god-slaying matrix. As the spear pierced over, the sun and the moon rose and fell, and the stars flashed. The terrifying power instantly tore apart the god-slaying light that was continuously emitted by the ancient god-slaying matrix and ruthlessly pierced into the ancient god-slaying matrix. The terrifying power directly pierced a big hole in the ancient god-slaying matrix, severely injuring Yi Wuji and the other two. Chapter 2205. Is a true God really untouchable? Shen Huang's casual attack had shattered the ancient god-destroying matrix and severely injured Yi Wuji and the other two. This made them deeply experience the terror of a true god. Facing a true god, Yi Wuji and the other two were like children who had just learned how to walk. They had no ability to resist at all. Life force repair. The primordial god-slaying matrix was penetrated by Shen Huang's attack. Yi Wuji immediately controlled his powerful life force and infused it into the primordial god-slaying matrix. He quickly repaired the hole in the god-slaying matrix and controlled it to continue attacking Shen Huang. After merging with the burning life force of Yi Wuji and the other two, the ancient god-destroying matrix was almost at its peak power. However, the explosive attack couldn't hurt Shen Huang at all. Facing the attack of the primordial god-destroying matrix, Shen Huang took a step forward. In an instant, tens of thousands of divine lights were produced. It was as if countless stars were falling, attacking the primordial god-destroying matrix. The matrix, along with Yi Wuji and the other two, was sent flying tens of thousands of meters away. Blood stained the sky. Yi Wuji, Shen Huang is too strong. We might not be able to defeat him even if we try our best. Why don't we escape from this universe and take revenge on him in the future? Facing an undefeatable enemy, Tai's heart also wavered. He transmitted his voice to Yi Wuji. Yi Wuji shook his head and said firmly, "You guys go. I'll buy you some time." As he spoke, Shen Huang opened his mouth and let out a deep sound. It instantly shattered thousands of miles of sea and hit the ancient, god-destroying matrix. It broke the newly repaired ancient, god-destroying matrix and sent Yi Wuji and the other 2 tens of thousands of meters away. Their souls were almost shattered. Little 6 paths merge. The ancient, god-destroying matrix was easily broken by Shen Huang. Yi Wuji immediately merged with Little 6 paths. With his life force, he activated Little 6 paths' strongest power and rushed toward Shen Huang. Yi Wuji rushed over. Shen Huang immediately reached out his right hand and grabbed him. 3 life stones shatter. Seeing Shen Huang's hand with the power of the divine path grab Yi Wuji's body, Yi Wuji threw out the 3 life stone, which flew toward Shen Huang. Explode! Before Shen Huang could shatter the 3 life stone, Yi Wuji forcefully detonated it. The power of 3 lives exploded and attacked Shen Huang. The moment Shen Huang was attacked by the force of 3 lives, Yi Wuji dodged the huge hand and approached him. He used the most powerful attack he knew and attacked Shen Huang. As the attack landed, the firmament shook and the void shattered. In the shattered space, an unparalleled divine light appeared, shocking the heavens and the earth. The shocking power caused Shen Huang's expression to change slightly. Boom! After being hit by Yi Wuji's consecutive killer moves, Shen Huang was forced to take 3 steps back. At this moment, Tianxian and Tai Yi did not take the opportunity to escape. Instead, they quickly flew over and launched their most ferocious attacks at Shen Huang, forcing him to retreat once again. Although Shen Huang had relied on his powerful abilities to withstand the attacks of Yi Wuji and the others, and was only slightly injured, he still felt extremely humiliated. "You all deserve to die." Shen Huang was enraged. The terrifying power of a true god gushed out of his body, transforming into various forms. It tore apart the continuous attacks of Yi Wuji and the other 2 and bombarded them. PFFF. PFFF. After being hit by Shen Huang's furious attack, Yi Wuji and the other 2 were blasted away. Their bodies were covered in cracks and they almost exploded. Die. Shen Huang took a step forward and crossed tens of thousands of meters in an instant. He appeared in front of Yi Wuji and the other 2 and wanted to destroy them. With their lives on the line, Yi Wuji and the other 2 did not retreat. Yi Wuji merged the Little 6 paths into his right fist and faced Shen Huang's invincible attack head-on. Boom! The 2 fists collided. The terrifying power of a true god instantly shattered Yi Wuji's fist and sent him flying. Seeing Yi Wuji's shattered fist fall into the endless sea, the power that exploded from Shen Huang's body stopped the entire space and froze Yi Wuji, making him unable to move. Yi Wuji, aren't you very powerful? Haven't you been going against me all this time? Today, I will let you know the consequences of going against me. As he spoke, Shen Huang appeared beside Yi Wuji again and grabbed his left arm. He exerted his strength and directly tore his left arm off, causing blood to spurt out. Yi Wuji's right fist was shattered and his left arm was torn off. However, Yi Wuji did not scream. He gathered the last of his strength and charged at Shen Huang. Bang! Before he collided with Shen Huang's body, Shen Huang's fist landed on his chest. His chest caved in and he was sent flying. Seeing Yi Wuji being tortured by Shen Huang, Tai and Tian Xian hesitated for a moment, but still decided to help. However, before they could get close, a powerful force pressed down on their bodies, causing them to sink. They were fixed in midair and could not move. Wuji, just as Yi Wuji's life was hanging by a thread, two painful voices came from afar. Knowing that Yi Wuji's life was in danger, Xin Yaotian and the God of Life flew over without caring about their own safety. Yaotian, Ming, don't come over. Hurry up and leave. Yi Wuji could ignore life and death, but he couldn't just watch Xin Yaotian and the God of Life die. He shouted anxiously, "Go! In front of me, no one can leave." Looking at Shen Yaotian and the God of Life, whose faces were filled with anxiety, Shen Huang revealed a sinister smile. He waved his hand across the air and instantly formed an invincible suppression, pressing down on the bodies of the two women, directly suppressing them in the void and immobilizing them. After I kill you, I'll play with them slowly. These two beauties are so beautiful that I can't bear to kill them. Little Six Dao, kill. Yi Wuji's heart sank. He burned his life force to increase the power of Little Six Dao and attacked the frozen space with all his strength. However, Shen Huang's strength was too terrifying. Although Little Six Dao's attack shattered the frozen space, it could not hurt Shen Huang. In the blink of an eye, Yi Wuji, who had just regained his ability to move, was suppressed again. Crack! Shen Huang grabbed Yi Wuji's legs and exerted a little force with his arms, directly pulling his legs off. Large amounts of blood spurted out uncontrollably, splashing into the turbulent North Sea. Wuji, seeing Yi Wuji being tortured by Shen Huang, Xin Yaotian and the God of Life were heartbroken. Large amounts of tears flowed from the corners of their eyes, staining their beautiful faces red. Two beauties, I advise you to save some strength. After I kill Yi Wuji, I'll let you know how powerful I am. I guarantee that you'll cry until your throats break. Shen Huang revealed a lewd smile. An evil smile appeared on his face as he looked at the tearful Shen Yaotian and Shen Yaotian. Yaotian, Ming, run. Yi Wuji, who was in excruciating pain, shouted loudly. However, Shen Yaotian and the God of Life were being suppressed by Shen Huang's power and had no chance to escape. Moreover, the two women had long been prepared to die and wanted to go to hell with Yi Wuji. Bam! As Yi Wuji shouted, Shen Huang threw another punch, shattering his physical body. Only his head was left. Yi Wuji, let me send you to hell. Chapter 2206. Wuji will go down and join you. Seeing Yi Wuji's head being crushed by Shen Huang, Xin Yaotian and Xin Yaotian were heartbroken. They were about to self-destruct and die with Yi Wuji. Humph, in front of me. Do you think you have the right to control life and death? Shen Huang snorted coldly. In an instant, a large amount of divine light interweaved and broke into Xin Yaotian and Shen Yaotian's bodies, restricting them and not giving them a chance to self-destruct. Rumble! Suddenly, a deafening roar sounded in the void that was gradually calming down. A boundless spatial crack appeared in the void. What is this? Looking at the spatial crack that suddenly appeared, Shen Huang's brows were tightly knitted together. Suddenly, a person appeared in the spatial crack that tore open the sky. Yi Qinfeng. Looking at the figure that walked out of the spatial crack, Shen Huang raised his brows and revealed a look of surprise. He was surprised that Yi Qinfeng was still alive. How is this possible? How could he have stayed in the ruins of God for so long? What kind of opportunity did he get in the ruins of God? Shen Huang stared at Yi Qinfeng, wanting to see through him. Suddenly, he realized that Yi Qinfeng had disappeared in front of him. He was so fast that even his eyes could not catch him. In the next moment, Shen Yaotian, the god of life, Tai, and Tianxian, who had been restricted by Shen Huang, regained their mobility. Chengfeng, your father has been killed by him. Hurry up and leave this place, Shen Yaotian said anxiously, grabbing Yi Qinfeng's arm tightly. What? My father is dead. Yi Qinfeng's face darkened. A surge of anger erupted from his chest, causing the space around him to shatter instantly. This aura. Sensing that Yi Qinfeng's aura was not weaker than his, and was even slightly stronger, Shen Huang's expression changed. He revealed a look of disbelief. Soul return. After cultivating for several years in the tomb of the god of sin, Yi Qinfeng severed the fourth thought, inherited the inheritance of the true spirit of Hong, and refined part of the spirits of gods. He passed the tribulation of true God in the ruins of gods and broke through to the true God realm. Feeling Yi Qinfeng's call, Yi Wuji floated in the air. His soul, which had not dissipated for a long time, quickly flew to him and gathered in his right palm. Resurrection pill, rebirth. Then Yi Qinfeng summoned the resurrection pill he had obtained from the giant frog and fused it into Yi Wuji's shattered soul. Yes, seeing Yi Qinfeng's remnant soul, fusing with the resurrection elixir and recovering at a speed visible to the naked eye, Shen Huang's face darkened. Holding the god-killing spear in his hand, he stabbed it toward Yi Qinfeng. With a thrust of his spear, terrifying divine patterns gushed out from Shen Huang's body, evolving into various forms of attacks. The power of his attacks surpassed the limits of the void god realm. Die. Shen Huang's spear stabbed over. Yi Qinfeng immediately summoned a divine sword that shone with 8 divine runes and met the attack head-on. Crack, crack, crack. When the tip of the divine sword collided with the tip of the god-killing spear, the tip of the god-killing spear cracked. A force beyond Shen Huang's imagination passed through the god-killing spear and into Shen Huang's arm, sending him flying tens of thousands of meters away. No, impossible. How could you have broken through to the true God realm? How could there be 2 true gods in this universe? Having experienced how terrifying Yi Qinfeng was, Shen Huang was in disbelief. He could not accept this fact. Frog God, I'll leave my father to you. No matter what, you must bring my father back to life. With a thought, Yi Qinfeng summoned the frog goddess and the phoenix god from the universe mirror and instructed them solemnly. Don't worry, true God Yi. I'll definitely bring your father back to life. The frog goddess nodded and promised. Chengfeng, you've really broken through to the true God realm. Shen Yaotian, the god of life, and the others were overjoyed when they heard how the frog goddess addressed Yi Qinfeng. Yes, I've broken through to the true God realm. Yi Qinfeng nodded and said, Mother, wait for me in the distance. I'll take revenge for you. Today, I'll definitely twist Shen Huang's head. With that, Yi Qinfeng wielded the divine sword and charged toward Shen Huang, who had a serious expression. Although the god-killing spear in Shen Huang's hand had been refined by the true spirit of Yuan, it was still quite a distance away from Yi Qinfeng's 8 barren divine sword. When the 2 divine weapons collided, the power that erupted from the 8 barren divine sword directly shattered the god-killing spear. The terrifying power caused Shen Huang's arms to go numb, and he continued to retreat. The power of heaven and earth is for my use. Merge. As a true god, Shen Huang realized that Yi Qinfeng's combat power was far superior to his. He immediately mobilized the powerful power of heaven and earth and merged it into his body, increasing his combat power and merging it into the god-killing spear. Divine spear, God-devouring. When the ancient divine pattern engraved on the god-killing spear was fully activated, Shen Huang stabbed out with the god-killing spear, wanting to pierce through Yi Qinfeng. Seeing the spear light that shattered the space around him like a divine dragon, Yi Qinfeng didn't dodge. Instead, he wielded the 8 Baron Divine sword and faced it head-on. Solar and lunar return to Void Sword. A red sun that emitted divine light and a flowing crescent moon broke out of Yi Qinfeng's body. They evolved the divine power of the sun and moon and collided with the god-killing spear that Shen Huang had stabbed out. Boom! The two powerful forces collided, and the explosive power turned the entire space into nothingness. It also caused the turbulent North Sea water to evaporate into thin air. Poof! Poof! After the head-on collision, Yi Qinfeng didn't move an inch. However, Shen Huang was sent flying tens of thousands of meters. A large amount of blood spurted out of his mouth. The seal of Yuan has completely merged. Shen Huang couldn't accept this fact at all. He quickly activated the seal of Yuan and used the powerful power of the seal to stabilize his injuries and increase his combat power. It's useless. Even if Yuan revives today, he won't be able to save you. After refining part of the spirits of gods, Yi Qinfeng's combat power reached the peak of the true body. Even if Yuan revives, he might not be able to defeat him. Boom! Yi Qinfeng shattered the space that had just been repaired with a single step and charged at Shen Huang at an extremely fast speed. Wielding the 8 Barons sword, he continued to launch ferocious attacks at Shen Huang, completely suppressing him. We're saved! We're saved! Seeing Yi Qinfeng suppressing Shen Huang's attacks and continuously dealing fatal blows to him, Shen Yaotian and the others were excited. True God, Yi has reached the peak of the true God level. That true God can't be compared to him at all. He'll definitely die, the frog goddess said. Meanwhile, Yi Wuji had merged with the resurrection elixir and gradually recovered his soul. He began to repair his life soul and physical body. No, I won't lose. I'm the one and only true God in this world, the one and only ruler. No one can defeat me. Shen Huang roared hysterically. He burned the powerful blood of a true god and desperately counterattacked with a cracked god-slaying spear. Although his counterattack was terrifying, it didn't pose any threat to Yi Qinfeng. It was easily neutralized by Yi Qinfeng. Kacha! Chapter 2207. Shen Huang was severely injured by Yi Qinfeng's sword, but a terrifying aura surged out of his body. This aura did not belong to Shen Huang, but to the supposedly dead Yuan. Could it be that Yuan's true spirit did not dissipate, but instead fused with Shen Huang's soul, wanting to use him to be reborn? Or could it be that Shen Huang obtained the power of other true spirits of Yuan? Sensing this power of true spirit that did not belong to Shen Huang, but was several times more terrifying than his aura, Yi Qinfeng guessed in his heart. However, even if Yuan was reborn, Yi Qinfeng was not afraid, let alone a mere power of true spirit. I am invincible in this world, invincible in every battle. Shen Huang, who was covered in blood, let out a shocking roar. Under the control of Yuan's true spirit, Shen Huang involuntarily burned his powerful life force. Borrowing the power of life, he rapidly increased his combat strength. He tore through the trench and flew into the air. He summoned several great treasures and continued his battle with Yi Qinfeng. This battle was earth-shattering, and earth-shattering. This battle would forever be recorded in the annals of history. Although Yuan's true spirit had awakened and Shen Huang had burned his powerful life force, he still could not withstand Yi Qinfeng's ferocious attacks. The treasures that Shen Huang summoned were continuously destroyed by Yi Qinfeng, turning into nothingness. What kind of opportunity did he obtain in the ruins of God? How can his combat strength surpass mine by so much? The more Shen Huang fought, the more shocked he became. The more he fought, the more serious his injuries became. Slowly, thoughts of retreating sprouted in Shen Huang's heart. Yuan's true power break all techniques. Shen Huang continuously spat out several mouthfuls of blood essence, activating the power of Yuan's true spirit. It condensed into an extremely powerful blood seal that grew to the size of a mountain. It crashed toward Yi Qinfeng, wanting to knock him back and take advantage of the situation to escape. Destruction of the gods, tribulation of the gods. Yuan's true power attacked. Yi Qinfeng activated the power of the 8 barons' divine sword and slashed out with the god-destroying strike. The sword shattered Yuan's true power and slashed toward Shen Huang, whose expression changed drastically. Qi. Shen Huang's arm was chopped off by Yi Qinfeng's sword, and blood spurted out of his mouth. Blood of a true god, destroy! Shen Huang couldn't be bothered to repair his physical body. He quickly executed a secret technique and ignited his severed arm, transforming it into a roaring blood dragon that attacked Yi Qinfeng. Slash! Shen Huang's left arm transformed into a blood dragon and attacked. Yi Qinfeng wielded the 8 barons' divine sword and slashed at it, shattering the blood dragon. Once again, he slashed at Shen Huang's body. The terrifying sword might almost split his physical body apart. Escape! As his injuries worsened, Shen Huang didn't dare to continue fighting with Yi Qinfeng. He quickly executed his escape technique in an attempt to escape. 8 baron godly sword suppressed the void. The moment Shen Huang escaped, Yi Qinfeng tossed the 8 barons' divine sword into the air. He controlled the 8 barons' divine sword to grow larger and larger until it became a sword mountain. It suppressed the universe and suppressed Shen Huang's body, making it impossible for him to escape. Yi Qinfeng, I hope you don't force me. If you force me into a corner, I'll take you down with me. Being suppressed by the 8 barons' divine sword, Shen Huang panicked and threatened ferociously. Shen Huang, are you still unaware of the difference in strength between you and me? Yi Qinfeng revealed a cold and disdainful smile. Today, I'll let you know the true meaning of being a true god. During the intense battle with Shen Huang, Yi Qinfeng had completely integrated with the spirits of gods. With the help of the spirits of gods, he easily tore through the bottleneck of his realm and broke through to a whole new realm. And this realm had a common name. Transcendent God. Rumble. The moment Yi Qinfeng broke through to the transcendent God realm, rolling tribulation clouds surged from all directions and quickly gathered. They covered the chaotic void and locked onto Yi Qinfeng. Tribulation clouds. Why are there tribulation clouds? Looking at the tribulation clouds that appeared in the sky and the divine diagrams that were constantly evolving within the tribulation clouds, Xin Yao Tian and the others who were hiding in the distance were dumbfounded. Their hearts were filled with worry. They knew very well that once Yi Qinfeng was attacked by the divine tribulation, he would definitely be distracted and give Shen Huang an opportunity to take advantage of. Once Shen Huang reversed the situation, everything would be over. The heavens are helping me. The heavens are really helping me. Shen Huang looked at the tribulation clouds that were getting thicker and thicker. He revealed a cold smile and decisively gave up on the idea of breaking through the encirclement. He was prepared to wait for Yi Qinfeng's divine tribulation to descend and launch a fatal attack on him, eliminating him in one fell swoop. Shen Huang, do you think that it's foolish of me to attract the divine tribulation at this time? Looking at Shen Huang's ferocious expression, Yi Qinfeng revealed a faint smile and said with a calm expression, I've said it before. I want you to know the true meaning of being a true god. I'm the master of this world. As he spoke, endless divine power erupted from Yi Qinfeng's body. It transformed into billions of stars and enveloped the entire space. In the next moment, the billions of stars transformed from divine power released a terrifying devouring power that was injected into the terrifying tribulation clouds. They frenziedly devoured the power of the tribulation clouds, causing a huge change in the heavens and earth. devouring the tribulation clouds. Witnessing the scene before him, Shen Huang's heart was in turmoil. His eyeballs almost popped out of their sockets. He was well aware of how terrifying the tribulation clouds were. Moreover, the tribulation clouds that Yi Qinfeng attracted were not ordinary tribulation clouds. They were the most terrifying divine tribulation. It was difficult to resist them, let alone devour them directly. What realm has he reached? At this moment, Shen Huang felt that Yi Qinfeng might have reached a realm that he could not imagine. The uneasiness in his heart grew stronger and stronger. Without even thinking, he wanted to leave quickly. Shen Huang, do you think you can escape? Under Yi Qinfeng's control, billions of stars transformed into a giant hand of stars that descended from the sky. It restricted the space and grabbed Shen Huang. No matter how he attacked, he could not tear apart the giant hand of stars. We're fine. In the next moment, Yi Qinfeng used the power of the divine tribulation devoured by the billions of stars to refine Shen Huang. No. Feeling that his physical body was being refined by the power of billions of stars and the power of the divine tribulation, constantly shattering, Shen Huang showed a look of despair. He kept burning his life force, trying to tear apart the giant hand of stars. When he attacked with all his might, he was horrified to discover that Yi Qinfeng's physical body was constantly growing. In the end, he became a towering giant. He opened his bloody mouth and swallowed the tribulation clouds that were evolving into mysterious, divine diagrams. They let out earth-shattering roars that were enough to destroy the universe. Transcendent stage breakthrough. After devouring the power of the tribulation clouds, Yi Qinfeng immediately controlled the power of the tribulation clouds and refined the spirits of gods at the deepest level. He tore apart the bottleneck of the realm in one fell swoop and stepped into the transcendent stage. Bang! The moment Yi Qinfeng stepped into the transcendent stage, Shen Huang's physical body, which was holding on bitterly, shattered. Yi Qinfeng used the power of billions of stars to refine him directly. Father, let me help you become a true god. After refining Shen Huang, Yi Qinfeng injected the pure power of a true god into Yi Wuji's body, which had just recovered. He used the powerful power of a true god to carry out the most fundamental transformation of his physical body and life soul. Once Yi Wuji completely refined the god's true spirit, he would step into the true God realm without any suspense and become the second true God of this universe. The divine peak was the highest peak of the void God realm. It was also the holy land of the entire void God realm and the various races of the universe. It was respected by millions of people. The reason why the divine peak was so famous was because the two true gods of the universe lived there, Yi Qinfeng and Yi Wuji. Suddenly, one day, 8 mysterious spaces appeared above the divine peak, suppressing the entire void. Under the 8 mysterious spaces floated a person. This person was the transcendent God, Yi Qinfeng, the absolute ruler of the universe. Father, what are you doing? Looking at Yi Qinfeng, who was using his transcendent divine power to continuously condense the 8 mysterious spaces, Yu Yeming was confused. This is a game of God. Yi Qinfeng smiled faintly and summoned the 8 treasures. These 8 treasures were the transcendent divine cauldron, the transcendent divine clock, the divine pearl of time, the primitive embryo of Tao, the universal sword, the God-eater brain, the blood of a true God, and a slowly beating heart that he had obtained from the ruins of God. Among the 8 treasures, the most precious one was not the God-eater brain or the blood of a true God, but the slowly beating heart. This heart was the one that Yi Qinfeng had refined using the blood of God. It contained the power of a true God. Go. Yi Qinfeng moved his mind and placed the 8 treasures in the deepest part of the 8 mysterious spaces. A game of God. Father, you're preparing to leave behind your own legacy. Yu Yeming instantly understood Yi Qinfeng's intention. Yes, God is too lonely. Sometimes you should find some fun for yourself." Yi Qinfeng nodded and said, "Perhaps in the near future, someone will obtain my legacy and be able to replicate my life and stand at the peak of martial arts." With that, Yi Qinfeng sent the 8 mysterious spaces into the universe, leaving behind immortal legacies and invincible legends.